No, he had a couple of lady friends, once in a while, Spent 40 years time here. But he had no children, no family of his own, no.
Your name is?
Yeah, Rick Forestiere.
And he was your
my uncle,
your
my father's
uncle.
brother.
Okay.
What happens? Dogs, because he got two big dogs, and then she had puppies.
Oh, and they fall in?
Oh, yeah. They fall in, we can't allow. Well, you can take a picture here. Here, come over here. See, we're on the rooftop. So look, you can take a picture from up here. Look, see, there's a bathtub. You can shoot it on the roof.
Oh, okay, yeah, there's the bathtub.
Yeah. Well, you can shoot across that way and you shoot that way. You see both ways. Like I see the Y.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
So you could pan that.
I'll give you a little background here, then you're free to go on your own out there. And I stay with you a little while until you're comfortable, about going. There are dividers up out there, so you shouldn't get lost.
There was another one, the one before we came in here.
We're hopelessly lost.
We are lost. Where are we?
How can we get out of here?
Here. We go through here. What is in here? No, there's nothing in here.
And then summer came, it got hotter than holy heck. So he was just going to do a little cellar to get out of the heat. That's all he wanted. He didn't know when he was young like you, he was going to go on for 40 years, or he probably would have run away. Because he did not come to America to dig holes in our desert. But one thing would lead to another and the years would roll by. Now these rooms that he carved out in here, he carved them out, did 95% of the stonework, but when he died, this was open to the skies, the walls were dirt, and the floors were dirt. He would never have been so dumb as to put the wood roof on. Yeah, this was done after he died. They put the wood roof. Now we got to have electricity, have lights on. Summertime it holds the heat in, wintertime holds the cold in. When you look out at his work, he's got more light. He moves all his air around with convections and thermal siphons, but he has no electric bill. And I want to know who the dumb one was. I got my bill the other day, so I'm a little bit upset about it. But the reason he kind of did this mainly was because later on in his life, some people were getting embarrassed because, this guy digging the holes out here and outside their town, some of the family too. It'd be like if somebody asked me, what's my son doing? Oh, he's in Phoenix, Arizona digging holes in the ground, So at that time, it wasn't quite the popular thing to do. So he would just tell people he's going to make a restaurant underground. Now that was acceptable because out in this desert, an underground restaurant, that was cool, someplace to get out of the heat. And in Prohibition, it was a great idea because the Sicilians made their own vino, so there would be plenty of whatever. So he would just kind of tell him that to get him off his back. Now, my father-in-law was out here one day, and 3 guys came from town with suits and ties. Of course, men used to dress like that in the old days. But Baldasare spent about 15 or 20 minutes and heading back to the town where they came from. And after they left, my father-in-law got angry with him. He told him, why didn't you tell him what you do over here? You explain what you do over here. Some of the unique things that he was doing throughout his work. And he said, well, he liked to. He said, most of the people come, he said, you have a little wine, you walk, you talk, you go through. But he said, once in a while, somebody come, to make fun of him like he's too dumb to know. He said, once in a while, somebody come, they only got this much up here. Yeah, he said, they only got that much of brain, you can only give them this much. He said, you've got to give them that much, you give them a headache. He said, I'll help the man out. Otherwise, I'm going to pay to kind of So kind of later on in his life, he knew that, what he was doing was not acceptable, but yet he couldn't stop. And now, of course, they call him an architectural genius, engineering genius, and things like this. Like we get people throughout the world that know we're here, but Fresno still doesn't know. Well, I went down in the early 70s to get the Fresno County site. And those were the days when I was prim and proper and kind of afraid of people a little bit anyway. And I prepared for 2 darn months on that thing. You know how you get all the articles and everything about it that's legit? Practice on my kids, like making them be me and I be them. And so anyway, I went down to these 2 politicians' offices, and I won't give their names, but they both live here and they have prominent names. But anyway, they just kind of give me that smile like, lady, are you going to get the heck out of here? I've got work to do. You know how they send that message under the thing? I picked up everything and went home. I bawled all night because I had really prepared hard for that. And about 2 months later, this guy came through and he was on my tour. And he said, someone should tell Mr. Forestiere he ought to get the California State Registered Landmark. And I told him, Mr. Forestiere can't do that. The guy didn't know who I was. I said, Mr. Forestiere can't do that because he doesn't have the Fresno County site. Because I thought you had to start at the bottom, and go up. He said, no, he doesn't need the county site. So he got together with my husband, they got the California State Registered Landmark, then the National Register people came in and got the National Register thing, and then California Heritage Council bestowed an award for its cultural contribution to California. And the years kind of passed by, and my husband was working days, I was working nights. We had 6 kids, and we were also trying to keep the gardens open. But anyway, years went by, and this guy from Clovis came in one day and says, well, you got to put in for the Fresno County site. And I told him, no, we already got the state and national. We don't need it. He's got the time anyway. He says, I know you don't need it, but they need it downtown. So he put in for it, and it went before the Board of Supervisors. They all signed it, but not a comment was made. So it's kind of one of those things that maybe it's an embarrassment to the town, but now his work's being, recognized throughout the world, so.
Buonasera, Signorina, buonasera. It is time to say goodnight to Napoli.